Today, we're welcoming Fyre Wyte to the show, a passionate artist who lives and breathes music, drawing inspiration from legends like Elvis, Justin Timberlake, and Kurt Cobain. Fyre Wyte is setting the music world on fire. Let's get into the show. This program is part of the Scene Projects Podcast Network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Well, welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I am your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is Fyre Wyte. Fyre, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, well, and this one will air way after the episode we did last night live on YouTube, but we got to spend a good bit of time together talking about life, listening to your music, and I just want to thank you because it was everything that when I thought about that show and I was building it out, that was everything that it was supposed to be, everything that I could and should be. So thanks for spending some time with me and Willie last night.
Of course.
So before we get into all the stuff that you're up to and the new music that you got coming out and all the things, we want to know a little bit about you for our listeners and watchers. You don't have to go all the way back to the beginning, but give us a little taste of who is Fyre Wyte.
Fyre Wyte. She is like alien sometimes to this humanness that she lives in and amongst. And she wants so much to, feel peace, joy, and accepted within, the music world and just, creating, period. Life is art. So, coming from a very, rough childhood where I was often, bullied for being different at such a young age, to, growing into this like super, from this really quiet bullied person to this like super like, loud, on the outside, the exterior seems kind of loud, to finally like finding myself and, syncing myself with not all the labels that have been thrown onto me, to just honing into, who I'm meant to be, and also like honing into what messages I really want to share with the world, meaning, my truth, from all the dark places I've been, and going into the light in which I am, finding with each day. Like life is a journey, and it's taken me all this time to get where I am today, and I'm blessed to be here. And yeah.
And I am blessed to know you. We got to meet in person back at Vibe Fest at Captain Jack's RV Park Campground there in Summersville, Missouri. Our good friend Willie was running sound, and I was blown away by your performance. And I wasn't getting a chance to really listen to the lyrics like we did last night. I was just blown away by the stage presence and the way, not just you carried yourself, but that you carried the moment, if you will, that you owned it, and the crowd wasn't massive or anything at that. You didn't let that affect you. You went up there, you stood, and you delivered. And that's what really attracted me to the persona, right? But I think last night I really got to know the person behind that, and it only endeared me to you that much more, because you are a very deep, introspective person, and that comes from those early years of your life and being bullied and living this very hard, traumatic experiences that you'd been through, and maybe not having an outlet to talk about those things. And now that you have music and you're producing and you're writing and expressing yourself, that you're freeing that small child, right? That
Yes.
bullied child is kind of getting freed to be who she was always supposed to be. And I think just watching this short journey that I've known you only a few months, but in listening to your interview on Soul Impact with Willie, and knowing you a little bit now, that this has been a long growth and a steady growth that you've been on. And I'm just kind of seeing maybe where the curve has gotten a little steeper, and you seem to be growing exponentially now.
Yeah, I feel a lot different than I did, like, even, 2 months ago. Like, I definitely feel like, um, I have like been more accepting of myself and everything that I am and everything that I am not and everything that I'm meant to become. Like, I'm just, I said last night, divine timing. Like, once you accept exactly where you are, but also, like, understanding that, like, you do have a voice and this is a community. So, like, how you want to project that voice. And I think speaking truth, your truth, is the most important thing that I can do for people. It looks messy, it looks a lot of ways, but it's mine. And feeling safe within myself to share that is a gift, that I am so grateful to feel, that I can release at this point. Because it did, I didn't have a voice. I felt like I was choking, for those early years of making music. Like, I was in my room for a long time. I just never came out. I had bands, if you will, like 3 different bands. And, I never came out of the house. I was just so fearful. And, yeah, so now, like, owning my truth, owning, everything that I am, everything I am not, and coming out, full force with that, like, no matter if it's one person or, however many people that it will end up being. Like, yeah, I want so much to just continue to own everything in my full authenticity, because this is the only way.
Right, because that's the only way that it's going to resonate with people. If you were trying to go out there and be, a female version of Justin Timberlake, right? Like, that's not going to, that's
Yeah,
not going to be
I
necessarily
just,
you.
it's not even possible. It's like, I think back to myself when I was, like, doing the talent shows, and I will say, how that felt to get up there and to dance and sing to NSYNC. Like, it was awesome. It was the best feeling at the time I had ever felt. And that's when I knew this is my calling. This is what I want to do. But, not being Justin Timberlake, not having all the things that he naturally had, like, it seems so anyway. He just, Elvis too. Like,
They're just
I
cool, right? They're smooth and they're
yeah,
talented and they're
and so
fucking handsome.
being inspired by them was, it was like, at first it was kind of discouraging, you could say, because I was never gonna amount to a lot of things, that because I'm not them. So when you put yourself in this, like, like, all these filters of, like, well, I'm not this and I'm not that and I'm not that, then you kind of lose who you even are. So it just took a really long time for me to really, like, go, who am I? And now, I'm able to go, hey, this is who I am. And yeah, it's just, it's very liberating.
You touched on it a few times now, the accepting who you're not or what you're not, right? And I think that, accepting who we are is kind of easy, accepting that we're not maybe going to be something that maybe we thought we really wanted to be, right? Like, whatever that dream is, and you think that you really, really wanted it, and maybe that's not who you're destined to be. And the accepting of that seems so much harder, right? I talk a lot on the show about how when I quit my factory job in February of 24, like I thought I was quitting my job to be a rock star. I had a bunch of gigs booked and I had, things where I was like, cool, this is it. And in that time, the podcast was just kind of in the background and I was doing interviews and I was, hanging out with my friends. And it was just kind of something that I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just like, I think this is something. And the more I did it, the more I was like, no, this is really something, to where now, like, my performance career as an artist is next to non-existent. I do have some shows coming up, in the next few weeks, and some songwriter, weekends and things like that. And that's much more of who I want to be, like I don't necessarily want to be in a bar band. That's not really my scene, right? Like I am much more comfortable around songwriters bearing their souls and laying their truth out there than I am bands playing cover songs for dancers. And like, it's not saying that I don't have fun if I go to watch something like that, but that's not necessarily who I am or who I strive to be anymore. Where for 20 years, that's what I was trying to be. Right. And I feel very blessed now to understand that, like, no, you're a campfire strummer. That's who you've always been. You have these, almost cowboy songs, right? And say maybe not, country, tried and true, country Western music, but they're cowboy songs, man. It's stories about the road, stories about life and loss. And it's the songs that the Outlaws sang to each other out there when nobody was trying to get famous. You're just trying to express yourself and tell your story.
Yeah, fame's overrated anyway.
I live in a town of 1,000 people, Fyre. Like, how much more famous do you need to be? Everybody knows me. Everybody knows where I'm at and what I'm doing. Like, that's good enough. I don't need billions of people around the world knowing my every move. I'm cool with it, Anonymity is like glorious.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. It's so nice to to go out there, do your thing, and then go home, to your space. This is like my sacred space, and to not have the noise of the outside world. So that's like the fame thing to me. I think at first I had this thought, like, I'm going to be famous. I know I'm going to be famous, and I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I was so frightened by all the things that, it just seems like it like steals something from your soul. And I very much like, if I got famous when I was young, what a fucking mess that would be. Like, so it's like, now whatever happens, however that looks, like I feel a lot more grounded, to where I understand myself a lot more, to where no matter what, like money, admiration, like anything, like you just have to, know that like all of that could wash away in an instant. So you have to stay like solidified within yourself and your happiness, no matter what happens. If anything, it's just abundance, it's extra. It can be a good thing, having, those things that are considered, fame. But yeah, I'm definitely at a place now where I'm ready to take on whatever and however that looks. But I do very much appreciate my space and my peace, and from, the noise of the outside world.
And I think, and it may be our age a little bit, but right now in this time in my life, I want to have impact, right? I want to impact the lives around me. And for me, our podcast has been a great vessel to do that. I always hoped that my music would be that as well. And it is, but I'm such a personal songwriter, as I know you are. Like, I'm writing about the things that happened to me, and not everyone has had my lived experience, right? So it might not resonate with everybody. And it en masse, it really probably doesn't resonate, because we've lived lives less traveled, right? And I don't wish the life that I've led onto anyone. I don't want anyone to ever be bullied in high school like I was for something that I had no control over. I don't want anyone to go into the depths of addiction like I did and to experience a deep depression. I don't want you to go there, right? Like that's the last thing in the world that I would wish upon anyone. But there's, you know, these songs that I've written are for the people that have, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I definitely write music both for myself and the thought of, you know, I guess it's still for myself in a way, but it's also with the thought of like uplifting people, like the song Take Flight I played last night. Like I didn't know when I wrote it exactly that I wrote it for me. I kind of thought I was writing, you know, for people. And then I realized, wow, this is literally my story. Like, so again, that's that subconscious, you know, like writing for you. Sometimes like you're just like, you go in the studio one day and then you come in another day and you're like, it's like fresh ears and you can really hear what you were saying a lot more than when you were presently in it. And it's just, it's super cool.
Yeah, it's the inspiration, right? The muse or whatever term you kind of want to bring to it that brings these things forth. You know, I've always said about my music is that I'm just the antenna, right? And my lived experience has shaken me in some way. And what you're kind of receiving out of the end of that pen is that vibration, right? It is the end of that antenna that's actually vibrating and writing that and making those chords and these things. Like it's very hard for me to, and I talk to a lot of people now that, you know, work or live around in Nashville and in the scene of like writing songs to advance a career, right? Like you got to keep writing and you're writing songs just for the sake of writing songs. And for me, that's never necessarily been why I've done it. I've been, you know, tear-soaked pages because something has just struck me, a breakup or me just being an asshole to my wife, right? Is kind of one of the big, you know, one of my biggest songs right now that I'm getting ready to release is just my apology, right? It is like, I was a jerk. I'm sorry. You are my everything. I don't know how to say that outside of a song, right? So here's this. And yeah,
It's like
I feel like
it's like a way to slow down versus verbal communication sometimes can be so messy and the emotions that come with it. It's like when we write, we can actually really like, hey, can you hear this? Because I mean this, like every word, like this is how I feel. Yeah. So music's so awesome.
because especially because we're fast talkers and fast thinkers, and there's
Yeah.
not a long gap between our brain and our mouth, right? Like both of us are very much in that field.
Right.
And so to just talk is just talking sometimes, where when I sit down to write, I am examining that feeling
Yeah.
and that thought, and I'm really taking my time. And there's not a lot of editing that goes into my songs. Like the editing takes place in my head. I don't write it down until it's like ready to be out there. And I
That's
find
impressive.
that, you know,
I am so not that way.
no, write it all down, scratch it out, write it again. And
I do all the things. I don't have a method. It's all madness.
yeah, well, the madness comes out in some really beautiful music. I was really grateful to get to just hang out and to listen, not just to the songs, but to listen to you wax poetically about your songs. And you know, these, I mean, I hate to like equate it to children, right? But definitely a gift, right? That you've made for the world, that you're like, I'm so proud of this thing, right? That I've made, and that now I can share it with the world. And you played some unreleased stuff with us that I'm very grateful that you chose our platform to kind of put those out there in the public sphere for the first time. Like that means the world to me, that you felt that comfortable in this little thing that I've built, in this space that I've created, to bring your gift and to lay it out there and go, what do you think of this? Right? Before I show it to anyone else, what do you think? And that's a privilege that I don't take lightly, right? I couldn't be more proud that our little, I call it a stupid podcast. It's not stupid. It's really fun. And I'm so appreciative of people that are tuning in and listening to it. But it was kind of just it fell on me, right? It was like the house in the Wizard of Oz, where it was like, all of a sudden, Harry, you have this now, right? Like, go forth and smash, young man, go. And we just, grabbed it by the reins, and we have no intention of ever stopping. How could you? After we had as much fun as we did last night, how could you ever stop wanting to?
Right. Well, when you're living, within your light and yourself, and you're spreading like, positive through all the different things that, people, all the different walks of life, like that's infectious. So yeah, why stop?
Yeah, we're going to infect the whole world, right? That's infect the whole world with that loving vibration, and to keep supporting awesome people who write awesome music and, show up at awesome places. I know as we're recording this, you're getting ready to head back down to Captain Jack's for Spook Stock. This episode will come out much longer after everyone is already home and recovered from the weekend. But, I wish I could be there with you guys this weekend. I know we'll have other opportunities, so I'm not sad about it. But I definitely, I love the family that is building around the Scene projects. That includes the Canna Fam down in Missouri, and it includes a lot of other small, and larger groups around the country and around the world now.
Same here. It's so great to be a part of a community and to be able to share, the gifts that we've been given, and to feel safe to do that amongst people like that is awesome. It's a good starting point. Like, I started with Sticky's Cabana, that super, like, this is behind someone's house. Sticky's awesome. Yeah, they're a group of people, and what they started and where they're at now. And I was grateful to start in a place that literally felt like, a family. And then I get the Canna Fam, and it's like the same thing. Like, it's just on a grander scale. It's a little bigger. And each year, these things get a little bigger. And it's cool. It's cool to feel that. And I feel like soon, that family is just going to grow in a way to where maybe there's a lot of people there, and they're there for you. And it still feels safe. It's not like, oh my God, there's so many people out there, I'm so freaked out. It's like, no, I've been growing this. These are my people. And I guess that's the, something I'm looking forward to is, playing for a good amount of energy back at me, if you will. Like, cause yes, I play for people, like, just even a few people, and you bring that same energy. But definitely will say I'm looking forward to, like, more of a, grander scale of people, like, receiving it and feeling it and getting to feel that energy back at me, so that I don't know. I think that you only tap in more and more to self, the more that you feel, like you can just, like, release, and, how to put it into words. Sometimes words can be so challenging. As a lyricist, you would think it would just be like, but it's actually, like, kind of messy, and you got to manipulate it. And you're like, wait a minute, I didn't mean that. Can I try that again?
Pull those words back in.
So like that. So like
and especially as the crowds grow, that feeling, feeling, right? We've had the opportunity to open for a couple of national acts at the Levitt Amphitheater in Sioux Falls, and it's several thousand people, and getting to step out on that stage and to have that crowd for 30-45 minutes just absorbing all of it, right? And I anytime I get that opportunity, I'm not going out there and playing cover songs. Yes, I've dabbled in a couple just to kind of bring them in, but the last time we played, it was 45 minutes of just original music, and I got to just go out there and to play 11 of my songs, and to watch people react in that way to songs they've mostly never heard before, right? And to see that effect that it had, That's why I thought I was quitting my job to be a rock star back then. I was like, oh man, this is it. This is it, right? We're on it. But there's so many stages, and there wasn't someone out there that had a platform like this for independent artists to launch off of. And instead of just sitting around and going, God, I wish somebody would build that for us, I grabbed the hammer and I grabbed some friends and I went, hey, we're going to build this thing, because this is what's going to be necessary for all of us to launch. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of elbow grease, and it's going to take a little bit of luck at certain points. But, you know, now, and granted, we shot the episode almost a year ago, but, you know, my good friend Samantha Grimes is now nominated for 2 Grammys. Like, what the now? So now we have Grammy, you know, nominated artists, and God, if she wins, then we have Grammy winners that are in our close circle. I mean, I could call her right now and she'd pick up the phone, and I want that for everybody around us. We want to turn everybody into those people and to really leave our mark on the world, and not just as individuals, but as a community. And I think we're well on our way. And there's no stopping the momentum that we've built, even if we wanted to. Like, you can't put the brakes on a speeding train. Like, it's just gonna keep on going. So I'm thrilled to be where I'm at, to accept the things that I am and the things that I'm not. And, you know, to be here and to spend a good little amount of time with you in the last, 24 hours has been an absolute joy. And I would love to give you an opportunity to share, anything that you want to plug. I know you got new music that's coming out very soon, and you're going to be doing a lot more here over the course of the next few months. So your opportunity to plug away, Fyre.
Well, I keep getting a lot of opportunities for different shows. So that's super awesome for me. Because I feel like I just was waiting for so long. I'm just like, I'm doing all this work. I'm in my studio, you know, I'm making this music and I'm putting in this time, but, you know, and I'm going to open mics and stuff, but I wasn't really booking shows, you know, so I wasn't given a lot of like significant amount of time on the stage. And now I'm like, people are seeing me and I'm getting these opportunities. And I'm like, hey, come play here, come play here. And so now I just got an opportunity to go play in Omaha, Nebraska, which is the furthest I've traveled. Well, we'll be traveling. So that's really cool. And yeah, I try to not say no to any opportunity. And within reason.
Is that for Hell House's event?
Yeah. Yeah.
All
it's
right.
like a charity drive.
You just made up my mind. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there to support you. He asked me to come down there too. So
hey, that's awesome.
Where he couldn't talk me into it, you did, girl. So now
that's
I got
like
perspective.
That's like late this month, right?
I think it's in November.
Oh, November. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, November 20th. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. He's got me doing another show at the skate bar, like October 26th or something like that. It'll be my first show in Kansas City, and then I have another show in Kansas City at the skate bar, opening for Sabretooth, like in November. So that's pretty exciting as well.
Yeah, it's just going to keep on climbing for you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on, I'm really big on Facebook. So that's where, you know, I'll post a lot. Like I have shows coming up, and you can add, you know, my Fyre Wyte page, FYREWYTE, or you can add my other page, which is, yeah, which is Candace with a K, Larissa. And then you can see me on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, a lot of platforms that DistroKid, you know, uses, because that's where I released my EP. And yeah, so here's to keeping spreading my message and to releasing all this music that I've waited so long to let come out. I'm really excited for everybody to hear the new stuff.
I'm excited for them to hear it too. I got a sneak peek, and anybody that listened and tuned in to Love Noise with us last night or wants to go find it, you can hear it right now live on our YouTube page. And Fyre, thank you so much for everything that you've given me these last few hours of our lives. And thank you for being part of the scene.
Same. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Bubba.
Same.